all set? If we could rise for the pledge this morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. And if I forget, I'll say it now, and I'm not politically correct, but Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a good week, good day off. Hopefully there'll be no weather. We're gonna start with our review of our minutes of our board meeting held on December 4th. Could I have a motion to accept those?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Maybe I gotta find them. I don't have my minutes. Okay, cancel that, we'll do it the next meeting.
We'll just wait them for signature.
Okay, all right,
I emailed them all, so everybody.
we did receive them. Okay, could I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Yep.
Sonny made it and I seconded it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any objection? All right, and we will sign them at our next meeting. We are going to open a public hearing in accordance with RSA 31:95-B to accept unanticipated revenue from the State of New Hampshire Diesel Grant Mitigation Plan, a Granite State Clean Fleet RFP, in the amount of $207,520 for the purchase of a 2025 Western Star 47X diesel plow truck. And this is going to be to replace a 2006 Class 7 diesel plow truck. Did I do that okay? All right, so it is open. Do we have any public comment? Any discussion?
I'd like to put in the minutes that Mr. Claremont and Mr. Jocks from our highway department were the two people that took the time to read into this grant. This is because Volkswagen of America was fined close to $300 billion for illegally selling diesel-powered vehicles that didn't make the emissions in the United States of America. So in doing this, the truck, these monies came out of that grant, and probably maybe another one to follow. The only bad thing about this old Mack that we're taking off that's 20-odd years old, we have to destroy. And if you remember watching a diesel truck, especially going up out of Laconia, and the guy would downshift it and the black smoke would run out the pipes, that doesn't happen anymore with these new trucks, because we have to put an acetone along with the diesel fuel. So I think these gentlemen deserve, it's certainly public notification, because my fear is, when this hits the press, or this meeting does, the public's gonna say, how'd they spend $205,000, because they're not gonna hear the word grant. And yes, we've gotta put some money with it, but this is like finding money that we didn't have to spend. And these two gentlemen were proficient enough and care enough to not just let it go by the board. They looked into it, they did the dance to get it, and now we're waiting for the truck to come, which should happen any day now. And then we have to destroy the other one. Now, when I say destroy it, we gotta ruin the motor, gotta ruin the engine, it's gotta go. So, I think congratulations to them and our highway department.
Okay. Is there any other comments? Okay, hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and I'll be looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept, in accordance with RSA 31-95B, unanticipated revenue from the State of New Hampshire Diesel Grant Mitigation Plan, a Granite State Clean Fleet RFP in the amount of $207,520 for the purchase of a 2025 Western Star 47X diesel plow truck to replace a 2006 Class 7 diesel plow truck.
I'll second it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, that motion passes. We'll move on to new business, and the first item is master plan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
basis, it's a good base plan, but it's 22 years old and needs to be updated. With that being said, recently, Region Planning Commission meetings, Rod Cameron, the land use tech is the staff liaison. There was a discussion about upcoming grant funding opportunities for different things, whether it be alternate transportation. And one portion of a grant application is they typically look at your master plan. With that being said, staff looked into it, spoke with Lakes Region Planning Commission, and what I am requesting is to add funds to the line item for the master plan in the amount of $16,500 for a total of $17,000 in that line item. What that would include is a contract with Lakes Region Planning Commission to do a portion of the update. Now, it needs to be understood that typically a master plan update, 60, 70, some towns are paying $150,000 to have their plans updated. What we did is we provided Lakes Region Planning Commission with an extraordinarily specific list of tasks that we would like them to do. Some of the community outreach portions and some of the mapping that's just above the technology that we have in the office. That number is extremely frugal. It would update the master plan, looking at it as a whole document. I mean, there are some of the updates there's a large portion that will be done in-house. That's how we would save the money, is a lot of it's in kind between myself, between Rod and the rest of my staff, can update portions of it. I mean, even just going through and taking the document, I mean, it still refers to Concordia Meeting House, which obviously doesn't exist anymore. So things like that we will do in-house to help mitigate the cost and keeping it as frugal as possible. And I know with the current budget climate, it's a lot to ask, but with that expenditure, the opportunity for funding and it coming back to us in other ways would greatly outweigh, and it would be a 10-year update. So this would be a one-time expenditure to update it, throughout. So that's kind of the request right now would be for the Board of Selectmen to support that change in that.
So you're asking this to be, for,
Increase the line item from $500
Okay.
to, increase it $16,500 for a
Sure.
total of $17,000 in that budget line item, which is
Yeah.
419506.
okay,
Quick question.
Yeah,
I know,
shoot.
I know you already said it, but I just want to clarify for the record that this is a one-year expense, we're not gonna deal with it again next following
Correct,
budget.
correct. This would be a one-time, they have, just because it's Lakes Region Planning Commission, they have a vested interest in the area and they would provide us services that we just
Thank you.
the technology or like community outreach staff for.
And obviously, 22 years, it's, a lot has changed.
Correct. A lot has changed just in the, even just look at the Belknap Mall as a,
Sure.
Belknap Marketplace.
Yeah.
The town has changed. The flavor of that mall has changed, just like the town. So, this would be, I know when planning board spoke about it, they did vote, on Monday to move it forward. They did vote to update it. I apologize.
That's all right.
Did vote to update it. Again, with the understanding, obviously, the key is they want to maintain the rural character, but to do that, you need a plan to, across the board.
I did provide in their packets,
Yes, there's
there is information on the master plan, if you would like, Karen or Rod to go through. I also, provided that the planning board voted this 3-2 to increase the budget and to move forward with the planning, the master
And
plan.
then plan update.
If you have any further questions for Karen or Rod.
Any other questions or concerns?
Nope.
No?
I'm just wondering, can you real quick just touch on what the two oppositions, why they were opposed to moving forward with it?
One of the concerns, basically the general sentiment of those individuals was, it's fine the way it is, and the other one, it's too much money. So those were kind of the two general comments. But I mean, $16,500 is a bargain basement price, so to speak, for a master plan update.
And again, a lot's changed in this town.
I disagree with the first one for sure, it's been,
Yeah.
a lot has changed since 2002.
Yeah, and as far as money goes, it's, if 17,000 versus 60 plus,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer, I guess, and.
And it is a one-time expenditure,
Yep.
update it,
Mhm.
for that 10 years going forward, and then once it, even in 10 years, if we look at it again, we're not making up 22 years, it's slowly updating all the time.
And you brought an
Keeping it-
extremely conservative budget to us that was below default, so I'm not worried about
Right, and
overspending from you.
Yeah, we're a very
Right.
conservative bunch, so.
Right, right.
Like I said, it was an opportunity, and again, with the staff that we have and the talents that we have, we can do a good portion of it in-house, which is
In-house.
great.
All right, no other questions? Would someone like to make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to increase line item 14191,506 to the proposed 2025 land use budget from 16,500 for a new total of 17,000 to move forward with the hiring of Lake Region Planning Commission to update the Town Belmont master plan with the oversight and assistance of the town staff.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none? Thank you,
very
Deb.
much.
Thank you. Fire department new hire. Is it Liam Foston? Foston? I don't wanna,
So after a long search since Lieutenant Murphy retired, we promoted up Lieutenant Ryan. We did have a lot of applications out there, we kind of narrowed them down. And we interviewed Liam, he's on our call department, so he's been moved up from the call department to now full-time status. He is attending the Lake Region Tech College right now.
okay,
He does have his EMT, but he'll be getting his fire certs by March, because he's gonna be there every day for a couple of weeks. And then he'll go to his advanced EMT. He's been with us now for a couple months, and he's been very eager to learn and good attitude.
awesome, awesome.
A couple
Well,
months as a call.
Yes,
And
couple months
just-
as a call, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, with the department, as a call person, yes.
so he's
He
kind of,
started-
he's kind of already got his pre-training,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, short pre-training,
Yeah.
but in watching him work with the full-timers at the time,
Sure.
it proved to
He
be a
fit
good
in.
fit.
Good fit. Awesome. Well, welcome, Liam. All right, good luck with,
How
good luck
is
with
this
your,
gonna work in with the budget? Is that, are you set
He's
for
a
that?
grant position.
What's that? Oh, it's a grant position?
He's the grant
Oh,
position. He's that final grant position I was still trying to fill since Lieutenant Murphy, since Lieutenant Murphy retired.
okay.
it's moving the scale, moving people.
Yeah,
Tom
so every
Murphy
time someone
retired, yeah.
leaves, someone gets bumped up into the full-time slot.
Yep.
So right now I have both slots filled for the grant. I discussed it earlier with Alicia, come March of '26, March 13th of '26, technically the grant ends, but because we started late, I'll be submitting a 6-month,
Extension,
extension and working on some stuff
okay,
to take care of.
awesome.
Grants are wonderful, ain't they?
They are, I mean, it's
If you
proof
work
that-
with them anyway.
It's proof that we've needed the extra firefighters, and it helped offset the budget for the past 3 years, or, well, 2.5 right now.
Awesome. Great, awesome. Welcome, Liam.
Thank you
All
all very
right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
All right,
Does anyone make it, want to
Oh,
make it official?
yeah.
all right, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, sorry, I was reading.
Liam? I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of Liam Foston, I'm sorry, to the Belmont Fire Department as a firefighter, filling the vacant safer grant position. Do I have do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none? Welcome. All right. Well, for construction phase bid results.
Yes, last Friday, we had our bid opening for the, well, for construction phase bid results, and in your packet is the, two bids.
Three.
That came in, and it was, the Underwood, our engineer, overseeing the project's, recommendation to go with PRD Construction Inc. as they were the lowest bidder. To finish off that project, these funds to, reconstruct, not reconstruct, replace, well, for, those funds are coming from the ARPA funds, so these are not being funded through taxation.
How much did we put aside for in the offer for the well?
So we had earmarked 500,000 for the well reconstruction.
That's where the discussion with the, generator, cruiser
Yeah.
kind of thing come into play. So you need a motion?
I do need a motion, I'm going to actually, the ARPA funds funds have been, it's new and kind of challenging. So you're supposed to obligate your funds, but then you have to enter into contracts, as of the end of this year. So getting the guidance is an obligation, a contract, or if not. So at first I was, Craig was speaking with Underwood, and we don't need to do items 3 and 4 of the bid. We're gonna remove actually items 2, 3, and 4 because we can do those in-house and or find a, local contractor to do those separate. So originally, we were just going to motion and accept the item number 1 for the 255, but after speaking with legal on ARPA, if I accept the bid for the total, we can extrapolate those things, that items out of the bid and the contract as time progresses that we don't need to do. Because ARPA's guidance is, what happens if my bids come under? What do I do with the extra funds? So the guidance is that you can, re-obligate those funds at a later date. I'm fearful if we award at the lower number, then you might not be able to re-obligate those funds if it.
So, and what you're saying is that if, instead of motioning the 255, we would motion the 325.
I would like, yes, I
And
would
then
do that.
whatever does not get spent, we can then, choose to,
Re-obligate at another time, but if you accept it and sign it for the lower amount,
then we have to scramble to get the rest of it
Right.
under contract before the end of the year.
right?
We're getting close. Yes, Craig?
I'd just like to speak for a second. So the contractor, the one that bid, also is a contractor that we're familiar with.
Yep.
So when we did when we upgraded the sewer pump stations years ago.
Yep.
This is the contractor that we worked with.
Yep.
He also, in his bid, he got, prices from, our contractors that we normally work with as far as our SCADA controls, our well pump guy, the guy that installed the wells.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
work with our contractors that we're familiar with, so I'm
Yeah.
very pleased that this came in, and they came in at the lowest bidder, because, I'll be working with people, and we will be working with people that we're familiar with, and we know we'll get a good quality job.
Yeah. Awesome. So we want to change the motion basically then to 325.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to
Okay.
approve the welfare construction phase bid from PBR Construction in the amount not to exceed $325,000, with the funds to come from SLFRF ARPA funds previously designated for the purpose of welfare repair and replacement.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, that moves forward. Okay, the next item is the WIPPES Act.
So it is what it sounds like, the Whites Act. This is actually kind of funny, because Craig and I have talked about this numerous times, and we've shared pictures on social media of what the flushable, non-flushable wipes that people put in the toilets, do to your infrastructure. And I got this email from Senator Maggie Hassan and Senator Jean Chapin asking for us to, support this new, the Whites Act that they are, supporting, and, basically, so I endorsed it on our behalf, and it basically says, as a wastewater professional and one of your constituents, I'm reaching out to ask you to co-sponsor and pass S13 Wastewater Infrastructure Pollution Prevention and Environmental Safety Act, which is the WIPES. This legislation recently passed in the US House of Reps. My colleagues and I are the people on the ground and who must repair the damage that wipes are causing to systems, which are publicly owned. This includes the flushing of non-flushable wet wipes. Oftentimes, these wipes are marketed as flushable, although they are not. Frequently, these products are composed of plastic materials that are not compatible with the sewer systems and infrastructure. As a result, when these products, the sewer systems, they do not break down, but rather accumulate with fats, oils, grease, and become larger obstructions. So, on behalf of the town, I sent this in to show our support
So this is why we have to continue to, clean our sewer, pumping screens, I guess, for lack of knowing what else, because,
They actually get clogged inside the pump, and I have pictures that.
right,
We've taken, three pumps on 3 pump stations completely apart this summer.
sure, because of this.
They can't process them.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it may be, the title of it may be funny, but this stuff should be outlawed, because the time expended and wearing out the pumps and stuff like that.
Sure.
it's-
Yeah.
It's horrible,
And people don't get it,
yeah.
all right.
So no action,
No,
just
just
to let you
update.
guys know that I took the. I
So
didn't
they're obviously proposing, monies, all right, which is probably something that you're gonna then be able to apply for?
Well, they're trying to make it so they can't label them as flushable. They'll say do not flush on them. So it's making it so it's illegal for them to market them as flushable.
Really? So what is that gonna do for us?
Nothing, it's just,
If we're lucky, it'll plug up the hole in the sewer pipe on 140.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
Anything we can do to.
Sure, I understand, but,
This is
yeah.
really, an issue, and,
Mhm.
it takes a lot of man hours and.
Yep, oh, I
They're
understand.
realizing that it's an issue and try to, get them
Yeah.
to,
I guess we're not the only ones having that issue if it's,
that's only two representatives from Maine are the ones that put it in, so it must be a big problem in Maine.
oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a big problem everywhere.
Yeah, I'll be done. Okay, all right.
Submitted, the 2 letters that,
Mhm.
we submitted on, supporting the bill, and then where the
So
bill came
we're
from.
doing our part, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Annual backflow testing results.
Last week, we had our second test on our backflow valves. We usually do it in May, which we did, and everything passed. They came last week to test them again at the firehouse and at this facility here in the mill. At the firehouse, the backflow valve, one of them is leaking. It did pass pressure test, but it's leaking, so it needs to be rebuilt. Here at the mill, we have 2 that failed. One has issues enough that it needs to be totally replaced. The other one, they feel they can rebuild. At this time, I do not have the cost figures on that. We're waiting for the proposal from New England Backflow to send us the cost factors, so what it would be. It's not a safety issue for anything at this point because the systems we have has backups. So nothing's going back into the stream and the pressure is being held. So, but it's something that we're gonna have to address once we get the cost figures. So, and the valves that we have here in the mill were installed in the 90s when the mill was redone. So they're at the end of their life. So, when he comes, he always flushes them and brings the pressure back up. The sediment falls into these valves and that's why they start leaking and everything.
Are these backflow preventers for water or for sewer?
For water.
For water. So that's not paid through the water district?
No,
Okay, I'm just asking.
I don't believe it.
Now, every year we have required backflow testing for commercial properties in town.
Oh, okay, so this
Those
is
people are
commercial.
required to pay for the testing.
Okay.
Backflow prevention is huge.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no.
It's for the safety of the water system.
mhm.
In case you have a break.
Yep.
Back siphonage doesn't happen
Yep.
and that can contaminate the whole system.
So I'm hoping by the time we have the next Board of Selectmen meeting that we have cost figures for you folks.
Because these are probably bigger backflows than what typically homeowners have, because
Yes,
this is
yes.
commercial property.
One
Okay,
of them is for the fire suppression system that
so
we
it's
have.
probably inch.
All right.
All right, okay, thank you. Library CRF withdrawal request. Hey, ladies, that's all right, no problem. Good morning.
Good morning.
Fire away.
My name is Sheila Cunningham. I am a resident of Belmont and a trustee of the Belmont Public Library. I'm here today with Eileen Gilbert, who is our library director, and Terry Elliott, who is another one of our trustees. We come before you today to make you aware of and to request your help in moving forward with a pre-construction phase of an expansion to the library. The trustees are in the process of hiring the firm of Bonnet, Page and Stone, BPS, to execute this pre-construction phase. Similar to the Belmont Police Station, which BPS was also involved in, this expansion will use the design-build process. And design-build is a project delivery method of construction in which one entity, the design-build firm, BPS, enters a single contract with the project owner, which would be the library, to provide both design and construction services. That's a definition from Wikipedia. We have a contract from BPS for this pre-construction phase. It will cost $35,175 and miscellaneous expenses, which will be mileage and printing of large-scale copies, in other words, the design plans, and take approximately 6 months to complete. That's the pre-construction phase. The goal of this phase is to do the initial planning and design for the expansion. The goal is to present this to the townspeople of Belmont at the 2026 deliberative session, a plan for the expansion, including the estimated cost, and that in 2026, we can have a vote on a warrant article to fund the expansion. So not next year, the year after. What we are asking for today is that the select board agree to approve the funds for this pre-construction phase from the capital reserve fund, which has been funded for many years for this very purpose. Additionally, we are requesting that the select board identify the appropriate Belmont town representative or representatives to sign the contract with BPS in addition to the trustees signing the contract. And lastly, it has been confirmed that the land that the library sits on is not deeded to the library, but is owned by the town. So before moving forward to much more with this expansion, this needs to be remedied, and we would like your support in that. That's it.
Yeah.
How much money do you have in your capital reserve right now?
The actual numbers will be issued at the end of this year, but we have quite a bit more than that.
Well, maybe, what, you want me to wait to make my decision till the end of this year, or what are you saying to me?
I'm saying that we met with Tom Garfield, who is the head of the trustee of trust funds.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Which manages this. And he provided us some numbers, but they will not be current until the end. In other words, they won't be updated for 2024 until the end of this year.
So what did you have for 2023? I mean,
Yeah.
have you drawn any money out in 2023?
300,
Yeah.
around 370,000.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
You have
Okay,
at the
yeah,
end of
that's what
November-
I'm looking
That's
for.
basically all we needed.
Yeah.
At the end of November, they had 400.
Oh.
There you go.
400.
Yeah, that, we're just kind of looking for our.
I saw Alicia digging in her phone, so I'm like, she's looking.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What makes you guys different, your capital reserve different from all the other boards or trustees that you have to ask the Board of Selectmen's permission to spend it?
Well, we did some research on that, and it turns out that when the CRF was created, there is a statement at the end that says you folks are managing the money, or you.
It says that the Board of Selectmen are the agents to expend, so they have to ask you to expend out of it. Where the cemeteries, it states that the cemetery trustees are agents to expend, and all the other capital reserves also state the Board of Selectmen are agents to expend, so.
So let's talk about the land.
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay, let's talk about the land. So the library is owned by the town, right? And the land is owned by the town. So why do we have to, what are we doing here? I guess I don't understand.
So I had just been talking to Kathy about this, and I just broached it this morning, so.
All right,
The land markers are in a specific shape around space.
Yeah,
And this is the other part that is owned by the town.
okay.
And so I believe.
So you want a boundary line adjustment so that whatever the library sits on is a certain tract of land that's still owned by the town,
Right.
but it's just cleaning up, you're cleaning up the, you're cleaning that up. So that, in other words, the mill sits on a certain tract of land. It's owned by the town, it is the town. What you're trying to do is clean up, that boundary line that's around the library, even though it's owned by the town, but you're just trying to clean up the boundary line.
So
But-
that we can, when they make the design for the expansion, that they know this land is gonna be available for us to build that.
To build on it.
But
Got it.
deeding it to the library would.
We're not deeding it, we're
that's-
just doing
You
a.
would change the deed
Yeah,
though, they
that's
said.
probably not the right terminology.
I'm saying, cause if you change the deed, it takes the ownership away from us and gives it to the library trustees, which I wouldn't agree with.
Yeah,
So
that's not what we mean.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still owned by the town. The town owns everything, it's just cleaning up the, so in other words, what happens is that,
It's a chicken and the egg. They
I
gotta
know.
come up- they
Yeah,
gotta-
well, I didn't wanna
they
take
gotta
ownership
come up-
away
they
from
gotta
the
come up with a
town
plan
to the library
first and so
trustee, if
Yeah.
that's what it sounded like
How
at
much they're
first.
gonna add on there and what they're gonna change, then.
right, and then we
Then we'll
can,
look at the land in the form of a map or a survey.
Yeah, that's, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Aware of that discussion needs to happen
Yep.
somewhere down the road.
right. So that way, if somebody comes along and they want, if we come up with a game plan to do something around the gazebo, we can't infringe within so many feet of whatever's gonna be built for the, it's just keeping things clean.
No, I'm fine with that, okay. Just the
Alright.
wording.
I
sounded
guess
confusing at
basically
first.
it's working with Karen
Yes.
and coming up with a boundary line
On the
adjustment,
board?
right?
And in the past, this has not always been that transparent. I mean, when certain things have happened, the library trustees and the library has not always been involved in decision-making or in knowing that things were gonna happen ahead of time. So we just wanna be completely transparent.
Yeah.
We wanna be sure you're aware of what our plans
Yeah.
are, that we have your support,
Yeah.
and that we work together to
Yeah.
improve the library.
Right, and I guess that it boils down to the fact that we don't know what that adjustment's gonna be till we know what is going to, what the footprint is going to be, then we have to work around that, because obviously, and you don't want this to happen, is that you don't want the town, kinda, right, to be put in a situation where they wanna do something different with other things next door to it, but then we gave too much land to library that they didn't use, does that make sense?
Or not enough, so you.
Or not enough, that's right.
They're not
Yep,
enough is the
right.
part that's a-
Yes, Craig,
Was there a previous plan done years ago?
there was, but that was,
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was before,
I mean, they spent
that
all
was
the money.
before the road was changed, before the gazebo was there, yeah, that kind of thing. So what we're trying to do is prevent further issues with that whole thing.
We did look at that and it's not feasible.
I just
Yeah.
remember that there was.
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
Yeah, the other one had a far bigger footprint, I think, yeah.
And as part of the pre-construction proposal from BPS, under architectural services, you'll see number 3, which is to review the site conditions based on available information. So the architect will be looking at these things. So we just wanna make sure that.
Yeah, and the architect needs to reach out to Karen, and between the two of them, they'll come up with a,
I mean, and I briefly spoken, and I said my office is available to myself
Of
and
course.
Ron. Reach out, we'll
Yep.
help whatever we can.
of course. All right,
So one of the questions, and I don't know, maybe I didn't make this clear, so we need to understand who from the town will sign the contract along with the trustees. And that's kind of time critical, because BPS would like to begin work on this in January after the holidays, but they will not begin work without a contract. They're not asking for any kind of upfront payment, they will bill as they go along after actual services have been delivered along the way. We had a discussion on how that would work, but we do need to have a signed contract. And so one of the questions is who from the town will participate
I would
in that.
assume the chairperson.
yeah,
That's what I would assume.
you know,
That's 5.
I can
It could
sign,
either be
I'm-
myself or
yeah.
the chair.
yeah,
Okay, so we can do
I'm
that
pretty,
today.
I'm pretty available.
We can do that in December, let me
Yeah.
rephrase that, it's
Yeah.
before Christmas,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
And also we need approval for the funds.
that's right, that's the other.
Oh,
thing.
so you need a motion to be able to, okay.
Yes.
Can I do that?
I'll make a motion to approve the, what, sorry?
No, go ahead. I was just gonna ask if I could make the motion,
Go.
but you're gonna do it, go ahead. You already started.
Well, all right. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the library capital reserve fund expenditure in the amount of $35,175 to Bonnet Page and Stone for pre-construction and engineering services for the library extension.
I'll
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? No opposition. I assume that the plan is to bond.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what will
Yep.
have to happen.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I am looking at the grant opportunities, but they're
Yeah,
not as
it's,
plentiful as they should be.
no. All right, okay.
I have also expressed to them that once they get this design done, they're gonna have to do a lot of show and tell and community meetings
Oh, it's gonna
and,
be
you know,
huge.
get a lot of buy-in, cause this is gonna be probably multi-million
Are we gonna
dollar
have a
bonds.
representative from us on that, set up with you guys to go through the designs?
Yes, that is the intent, so one of the things moving forward is that we will, obviously there will be a building committee, we welcome someone from the select board to be on that. All of these things are part of this pre-construction phase, including having lots of listening sessions and talking to the community, so that's part of this. And you'll see if you look in the document that was provided to you, the list of activities that BPS will be doing during the 6-month period.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Drink a lot of
That's
coffee.
why we're shooting for 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be huge to,
And we
reach
wanna
out.
be fully prepared, we wanna be able to lay out all the plans, show you what it will look like. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is, a lot of work.
Any other questions?
All right, all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank
Happy
you, ladies.
holidays.
Yeah. Okay, adoption of temporary shelter housing rules and regulations. This sounds like a Donna.
You wanna come forward?
What is this? Oh, it's got the general, okay.
Oh, yeah. So, under RSA 165, we have to have, it's state law on welfare and general assistance. And then we have, adopted guidelines that that mirrors that, but we can either enhance or specifically identify how the office runs, what the expectations of the town are, that mirror the legalities of the law and all the other particulars. In that document, annually, I have to have a housing updated study that goes, that supports it, along with probably food stamps and some of that, the upgrades. It's just if somebody ever asks for the guidelines, they can see those documents that support it. So when I do a budget on someone, and they, challenge, you know, how much a basic needs budget is, we have, documentation to support it. What we don't have that really needs to be added to the guidelines is this rules and regulations for temporary shelter and housing. And the reason is, I don't know if anybody's looked at the news, but
We have none.
well, the homeless population, has been going up somewhere between 9 and 12% a year, and, in the state of New Hampshire, in 1 year, last year, it went up over 50, like I think 51%. And so, per capita, we are the highest, we have the highest amount of homelessness in the country. And so, with that said, we need to have support and documents, so when I put somebody in a motel, a hotel, or a temporary shelter of other sorts, it's not just like, okay, you're here, you can stay forever, there's no rules, no guidelines or whatever. And regular guidelines don't have the specifics that are needed for us to be able to support and be consistent. I mean, everybody's treated the same, you know, and so when somebody comes in, you gotta, and this is just a it doesn't have, like, for instance, if it is one of the motels I use, and that'll get, put in, this is just like a template, if you will, and
So this is something that a lot of the towns use.
they are, in fact, they've used a lot what I've been using that hasn't been necessarily,
Updated.
well, not so much updated, but a lot of people a lot of towns never had anything like this. And because of this population and the need to support them and be structured, we, the city of Laconia and I started to look at, hey, wait a minute, and started to put some of this together. The city of Laconia has same town council as we do, and so Laura reviewed, this document. I mean, there's a couple tweaks here and there that reflect the town more than the city, but, and it was absolutely suggested that we adopt it and that it's utilized, so.
So our lawyer basically has critiqued this.
Yeah, through the city of Laconia.
Yep.
And so, and I think the only suggestion that I have, this is fluid, it's a moving document, so there's gonna be times when things need to be adjusted and changed, but it needs to be, there needs to be a motion that's, made to, include it in the general assistance guidelines. The last time they were dated was the 21st, which they're in review again.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they shouldn't go more than like 5 years or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, I mean, I just need for you to adopt it, you can review it, it's pretty, very strict,
Yep.
very structured,
Yep.
very, but very consistent, use one document, use for everyone, so.
Okay. All right. Any questions? I mean, who are we to? I do.
I'll make the motion to approve the adoption of temporary shelter housing rules and regulations to be added to the Belmont Welfare and General Assistance Guidelines previously adopted by the Board of Selectmen on September 13th, 2021, and allow General Assistance Director the ability to make necessary changes to the shelter agreement as deemed necessary.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none.
Did it,
Thank you.
get rid of some of the cameras and windows, security cameras.
There you go. Other new business?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. 2024 default budget updates.
So I plugged in the numbers yesterday after AP was processed and payroll, and we are at 91 of 100% spent of the default budget. So we're still within the budget.
But we're
will-
creeping up.
We are creeping up.
Yep.
We do have one more week of payroll, and AP for 24. We do keep an open manifest for 24. We're cutting it more, we're gonna be more tighter with it this year. We usually keep, 2 manifests going for 24 and then 25, because there are stuff where we do get billed towards the end of December, but the bills won't come in until January, but we really wanted to and needed to spend those funds out of 24. I've told staff that, I'm not going to approve little expenditures here and there. Oh, I bought toilet paper, I wanna put it towards 24. No, just buy your toilet paper out of 25. So we're just gonna be cutting it tighter, still looking at it every single week. With that said, I do think, we're gonna be tight. I do not believe that we will go over the default budget. It will be close. We won't have as much excess as we have in the past, but that was expected because of the areas of the budget we decided to support that didn't get funded through, town meeting. With that, we've been kind of looking at the police department budget to see if I can give you the A-OK, to give them the A-OK to go and buy that second cruiser. We have approved, you guys have approved the purchase of the one cruiser out of the ARPA funds, and we've already started that process and signed the contracts and the POs and the invoices to meet that requirement. I do feel confident to suggest that they buy one more cruiser out of the budget, and I plugged in those numbers and plugged in what we are still committed to pay out for the rest of the year with Steve's help. We've both looked at what we still have income for larger item bills, and adding that into it, I think will be go out on a limb and say, we're okay.
So do you need our approval to do that? Or,
It's,
I mean, we
it's
kind of,
well, you did cut it from your defaults, you know, your revised
Yeah.
defaults that
Yeah.
we're working with.
right,
So if you want a motion to, allow the police department to purchase and outfit the one cruiser from their operating budget, you may, just to make it cleaner, because you did cut it out.
I'll make that motion.
You got that, Colleen?
Do we need a dollar amount?
No.
do I have a second?
Second,
Okay.
there we go.
I got seconds all around, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, we will let you go out on a limb and, and do that. I know you and Steve are working very, very close with the numbers.
Yep.
Yep,
We have, in a round number, the cruiser that we are funding through the ARPA is around 72,000, so that's what will be about for the, pretty much exactly the same, 72,700.
well, that does take some pressure off from our police department, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get those.
Okay.
So that was the default numbers.
Now, 2025 budget updates and changes.
I just wanna do
Oh,
one more
okay,
back.
sorry.
So, there are budgets that we knew would go in the negative and the red because of things that we just weren't in our control. So the elections budget, that did go in the negative because we had 4 or 5 elections versus the one that we had in '23. The assessing budget is in the negative. The planning, the land use budget is also in the negative, but that is because, we had employee changes in insurance
Changes?
changes,
Yeah.
and that really just took that budget out of
When
whack.
when someone adds insurance, it's pretty large. I
Mhm.
mean, so I think we had 2 people, pick up the insurance, and that's around $2,800 per month per person.
Mhm.
So adds a
There's
lot.
that up and down depending on what plan they take in other
Yeah,
words.
in this
Yeah.
case, I think it was family plan, so.
Yep.
A 2-person plan, one's a family plan. It's amazing how quick that will make you push through that budget.
Sure.
And, so that's kinda what happened.
The emergency management line is in the negative as well, but we do anticipate a reimbursement to come back into that line because we use that line to fund the update of the hazard mitigation plan, but we do get that grant back from the state, so that will go back.
That was a grant thing, that's right.
Yeah, and then the highway administration line is in the negative a little bit, and then the general assistance, that one is in the negative, and that is due to the housing crisis that
Which we have no
we're faced
control
with, that
over.
we don't have any control of. And then unfortunately, the legal is over,
Mhm.
we budgeted 35,000, we're at 62,000, with
Mhm.
still bills coming in, so.
Yeah.
And I've only budgeted in '25 for 50,000, and I'm kind of
Hemming and hawing on that.
hawing if I
Yep.
should, up that.
If we stop paying for those lawsuits, it might actually help.
Well, that's the problem, you know.
And we just, and I haven't updated non-public for you, but
Yeah.
there may be good reason to increase that for next year. But we have one more meeting where we could increase that too, if we feel we need to.
Okay, all right, and that's and so the legal, we budgeted how much?
50,
50.
25.
Right.
And I'm currently at 62, probably by the end of the year we'll be at 65, 70. So it's gonna be a little-
Yep. Yep.
And they don't decrease their rates
Their
every
rates,
year.
absolutely.
They increase their rates every year,
Mhm.
and, so that's the '24, default budget and where we're at. Does anyone have any questions on the default?
Nope, I think you guys have done a phenomenal job to keep us up to date and keep it, and everybody, all department heads, to keep things under control and support each other. Has not been an easy year in the budget department, that's for sure. Okay? All right.
Your '25 budget update,
Yeah.
So you did approve the land use
Yes.
increase to the master.
Yes,
So if you just want to make a motion to, make their change to their total budget, I do have that motion for you. You approved earlier just the.
the 17.
Yep.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve the changes in the 2025 land use budget for a total budget of $435,566.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? None?
So as far as the 25 budget moving forward, the budget committee has done all their deliberations and done all their department head meetings, and their first public hearing is scheduled for January 7th. There will be one more opportunity for me to bring forward to you any more changes before I bring it to that public hearing for the final budget of 25.
Okay. All right. Any questions? I think it was an interesting budget.
It was. I think there was a lot of the newer people asked a lot of questions and
Lot of good questions. They did not agree with us on the fireworks,
yes, that is still
They-
not in the budget.
but that is, they voted to eliminate
It's
fireworks.
gonna hurt more than it's gonna help, but they'll find that out.
Yep, yeah, so, all right, contingency fund.
Yes, wanted to get your final decision on if you want to move forward with bringing forward to the warrant article a contingency fund. My suggestion would to still fund that through the 2024 unexpended fund balance, with an amount of $20,000.
And obviously, the reason we kind of created this was, it is a contingency fund for $20,000. It has to go back to the taxpayers if it is not used. And our reason for doing this is that this year alone, we had some maintenance issues that that kind of threw things out of line a little bit. And what we were trying to do with this is, when our department has, I think, like highway, police, fire, when they have equipment, I won't worry about computers or that type of thing at this point. I think of on-road vehicles, that things happen. It's mechanical stuff, and it's far beyond what we can fathom might happen. And the reason for this contingency is it gives us a little bit of leeway to be able to repair these things without affecting each individual department's budgets or throw them out of whack, so to speak. So that was the whole reason for creating this. But again, we can have this contingency fund for $20,000. If it is not used, then it goes back to the general fund, which then eventually could go back to the taxpayers. So that's the whole reason. It just gives our department heads a little bit of breathing room if something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, it would give you it's for unexpected
Expended.
expenses.
And I'll say, it's nothing special that the town's trying to do, the county does it, but we do it with $200,000, not $20,000, so we
Oh.
do it at a way higher level.
Well, we're trying to be
I know.
conservative. We're trying to be
So
conservative.
it's nothing special
And-
that the town's trying to do, every government does it.
Do they? All right. We haven't done it, but we found this year. And again, as equipment gets older, and we all know, if we've taken our vehicles to garages or anything, it's not a pleasant feeling when you get the bill. So that's the whole reason.
Well,
For
I
any
make a
clarity.
motion to,
You're good. I was gonna say, for any clarity, the only people that can expend it is the selectmen, so if they disagree with how we spend it, like I said at the last meeting, it can be voted out anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there is requirements that you have to do a report on how you spend the money and put it in the annual report, so that would be something new added to the annual report on how you spent those funds.
Okay. Sonny, you're gonna make the motion? Go
well,
for it.
I did start.
Oh, that's okay. Start again.
Okay.
You're
I make a
on.
motion to ballot the creation of a contingency fund in the amount of $20,000 with funds to come from 2024 unexpended funds balance for the year of 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, we'll move forward with that. Generator quotes.
Per your request at the last meeting, I revisited the quotes for the generator came back and decided not to bid on the project. Another vendor, one of the town folks called me and said that they had a company in Laconia that wanted to bid on the project. They gave me the number, the contact for me. They never reached back out. So that left me with 3 vendors. They all provided quotes on 130 kW generators, propane. New Wave came in at $113,750. Gold Electric came in at $110,000, but they also provided an option of a Caterpillar generator, which was a 135, but that's $122,500. And then Code Electric came in at $91,000. After reviewing all their quotes, if we go forward, my recommendation would be Code Electric. They're the most detailed and the most complete package. All we would have to do is, they're gonna do all the trenching, they're gonna do the base, they're gonna provide the generator, the switches, all the wiring. They'll provide the piping, the gas line to where the tanks are located.
Yep.
All we would have to do, whatever propane company we want, they would just have to drop the tanks
And
hook it up
attach,
there.
and then they test their line.
They would test the pressure test it and go from there. They do give us an option for an extended warranty. For an extended warranty for 10 years, it's like $2,100. That would cover everything. That would be my recommendation. It's a long-term investment for us. They require a 50% deposit with a signed contract, which is normal. And once we do a signed contract and deposit, they would order the system, and it is 6 months.
This extended warranty, this is on the generator itself?
Right.
So, how do we, cause I know I have a generator,
I do too.
and I have a yearly, the guy shows up once a year.
The first year, they would do that for nothing. Then
Okay.
it would be, just like our elevator, there would be a yearly charge.
Okay, all right, that would just be under, whatever.
That would be under the mill service contract.
Sure,
And we would do that probably in 26, if they're gonna start in 25, do it for the first year for free, and then we'll
26
add
or
whatever that
27,
is at the
however
end.
it works, all right.
Right. And I have worked with Code Electric before, fortunately, so, they're a stand-up company. They're out of Manchester. They do, the work that I've seen and have had done is very professional, so. I really wanted to keep it local. I really wanted to have but unfortunately, when it's a $19,000 difference for a system, you have to go outside of the box, so.
Well, the same thing with ours, I wanted to stay local, but ended up not local, but I can't complain, so,
Right.
you know. Yeah, all right. Any questions?
So this is gonna be ARPA funds?
So this
Pay for
would
it?
come from the ARPA funds, so with the unobligated ARPA funds after, for the total ARPA funds that the town received was $767,000 and change. And then the first obligation was to buy body cameras for $81,000 and change, and then we obligated the 500 towards the well. That gave it, and then you guys just authorized 72,000 and change for the cruiser, giving a 113,000 and change balance. Then you also authorized the PD to replace the repeater for $29,000 and change. And I have exact figures if people really want them. And then the balance left to obligate by the end of this year is $83,756. So you would have, I'm sorry, Patrick, did you say the 91 did include the warranty or did
No,
not?
it did not.
How much was the warranty?
21.
$2,100.
So you would be looking for 9,343 to come from, my suggestion would be the municipal facilities capital
Yep.
reserve to fund the rest of that.
And that would put us online for next year, for the bad weather next year.
Yeah.
I figured if we, depending on when we do the signed contract and the deposit, that the installation would be during the summer, we have plenty of time to test it, make sure, so when
Get the grass growing again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right. Any further questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the bid to the mill generator to Cody Electric in the amount of $91,000 with funds to come from the SLFRF ARPA funds, and an additional $2,100 at that time to come from that same fund, if there's money left there, for the warranty. Because actually that'd be a year away.
And if you wanna just add that any excess funds to come from the municipal facilities
Yes.
capital
Yes.
reserve.
Yep,
Yes.
you got it.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none?
Good work, Patrick.
Yes, thank you, thank you. That's been a ways coming. We kinda went over the opera fund
Yeah,
update.
and I
Yeah.
can reiterate, you know, the town was awarded, $767,689, in total of the ARPA funds. As I just said, you've obligated those funds to, 5 projects, which was the body cameras at the police department,
Yep.
the well, for, replacement, which is a
Huge.
huge to be able to, you know, not put 500,000 towards the ratepayers, and then a new cruiser and the repeater, which the repeater, is very important for, communication with the police departments, throughout the town. So, I think we made good use of those free funds, and,
We accomplished a lot with
we
that.
accomplished a lot.
And obviously was able to use it where our budget failed. So,
And didn't have to raise almost 800,000 through taxation, so.
that's right, yeah. Now exciting news, Force 140, Force Main, Route 140 Force Main update.
So you have a lot of information in your packet. I have been in quite a few meetings with, my fellow advisory members, on the Winnipesaukee River Basin. I have had Brian and Craig in with me on some of these meetings. Wes, who is, the chairman of the Winnipesaukee River Basin, the, advisory committee, and, Ray Porter have really, you know, said, hey, we really need to advocate for Belmont and support Alicia and her fight to advocate for Belmont and speak up. So we've had some meetings. As you guys already know, you guys approved, Underwood to do a second look at the Wright
Yep.
Pierce memorandum of their suggestion on the $9.5 million to fully replace the force main. So I've provided you with Underwood's memo on what their findings were. We also drafted, this letter to Renee Pelletier, basically saying, you know, this is Underwood's findings. We need more time, we need more information, and we need more conversations, before you just start construction this year, in '25. So I provided you with what I've, sent to the DES on behalf of Underwood, as well as, after Wes and Ray and I met with Craig, the advisory board also sent DES a letter saying, hey, we support Belmont too, and that you delay awarding the bid to Wright Pierce, cause they're about ready to sign almost $1 million contract with Wright Pierce to do the design of the force main. So I just supplied that with you from them saying basically, you know, the proposed replacement has a major impact on the community. With only 1,200 ratepayers, the program needs to consider the most effective use of the ratepayers' dollars to rehabilitate the force main to minimize future sanitary flow. And the advisory board also has some questions and concerns on how they came to their replacement fund baseline. So we are pushing back on getting more information from them as well, because some of the members have said, whoa, where did these numbers come from for you to replace some of these items in there? So I've given you that letter. And then there's another letter. Our thought is that, and you'll see in the second letter to Rennie from Wes, you know, the Belmont Forest Main construction project will require the approval of the governing executive council in accordance with the 2012 memorandum of understanding between DES and the municipalities, the advisory board respectfully requests that DES not award or proceed with a proposed task order agreement with Wright Pierce to perform the engineering services related to the replacement. So we're just saying that we don't feel that this aligns with the memorandum, given the
So
cost
you've
of the
received
project.
you've received no response back from Rainey, though?
So this just happened last week.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then, so that letter, this third thing you have,
Mm-hmm.
so Sharon, who is basically Rennie's representative, and she's the one who comes to the meeting and basically tells us what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
She responded yesterday with this email, basically, saying she didn't agree with our assertion that, that they could move forward with it. And then she's kind of asking, well, when did this vote get taken, and was this just one person? She's questioning the validity of the advisory board's position on them to stop moving forward with that, so.
So does this does though have to go to the governor and council for a vote?
She's saying it doesn't, but we're still gonna get more guidance on that from DES and statute and how we
Okay.
learn them.
I mean, if we want to, we can try and get our counselor down here to talk with the board and you.
Yeah, and so we're facing the same, so the Bay District, another municipality in the Winnipesaukee River Basin, is facing the same exact issue as Belmont is saying, all right, you need to replace this is your only option. And, so we're trying to team together and attack this issue as a united front, and then, keep it going and take it to the executive council and whoever else we need to say, hey, you need to answer some more questions, you need to show some more background on how you came to this, why is it that this is the only option, why won't you entertain, that we only need to fix the bad area and not the entire line. We should have more say, seeing as how we're working for it. So that is the
couple
update on
meetings
all
I
of
attended,
this.
the couple meetings I attended, this Sharon was pretty adamant that it's her way or the highway, which was a little much. Yeah.
She won't even attend them in person.
No, she only does them via Zoom. She won't even
She
show up.
wants to put in $10 million line, she won't come to a meeting.
Right, that's exactly right. So Rainey is her boss? Okay. Interesting, all right.
So I had given them, our letter and the memo, so he said, I think it was maybe this Friday, that he was going to sit down with Wright Pierce and answer our questions that we want, them to answer in regards to, they also claim that there was other breaks along the line, but it doesn't ever say in here, well, where are they? She just said that there are other breaks, and tell us where those breaks are, because we only know this one area, and you're saying that there's more.
I guess we'd know if there had been breaks in the line, that's for sure.
Yes.
I
We'll
mean,
have to clean it up.
That pump station, you can tell when things are happening because everybody and their mother is down at that pump station. It's pretty open to the world. Yeah, and then my other concern is that there's somebody that looks like he's bought some property right around the area where the line is broke. And is he gonna be putting a driveway in? He would probably have to have state approval, cause that's often a state road, and that's right over that same high-pressure line. And I guess I would be very concerned, or maybe that needs to be, pointed out to them, that that's, well, I'm sure they do, but, it should be, I'm nervous about what construction might happen near that same area that we know is compromised.
My concern is that they're gonna put this, they want Wright Pierce to design it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's point A to point B, put a new pipe in, and they want $1 million to do the design.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little crazy to me. I don't know.
What happened to all their design people?
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah.
I would say just try and, if you can, communicate with Joe Kenny, our executive counselor, and let him know our thoughts on it, and maybe he can twist some arms at DES.
And just, our position isn't that the situation doesn't need to be fixed.
No, just properly,
It's
it's
just you don't
affordable.
need.
A whole complete
you want
line.
to fix what
Yeah.
needs to be fixed, not fix something that doesn't have to be fixed.
Right.
You know, that line's 50 years old, it was designed to last 100 years.
Right.
So, part of it, yes, because it's in bad soil and it's, you know, it's in that swamp area.
It should have been encased when it was designed.
Well, and that's what they're doing now, they're actually, they're wrapping these pipes now.
But I'm back to that same
Back
thing,
then, they didn't do that.
that, you know, I don't understand why they're not running that, whatever that pipe is, I can't think of what it is. They used it in Guilford when
Zip line.
when when the sewer was running into the lake on Easter weekend a few years ago, they,
Because this right here had direction from
Yeah.
Sharon McMillan.
Right.
That this is what we wanna do.
and they're not looking at
We're
any.
not gonna take any other, we're not gonna take any other opinions, any other anything, this is what she wants, and this is what she's gonna try to get, so.
Yeah.
And it's our job to,
And we just have to pay the bill.
yeah,
Right.
and you know, if it all goes through, it's like we've talked before, we need to, you know, explain to the ratepayers that we did everything we could
Mhm.
to try to, you know, mitigate the costs,
Mhm.
so.
It's not from lack of
We're doing it-
trying.
It's not, exactly.
It's not from lack of trying, cause we've been attending meetings and,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
When you're looking at,
And obviously, okay, the other question was, she made at one of the meetings this big thing about, oh, there's grants, right? Yeah,
But it's their line.
it's their, you're,
They should be applying.
it's
for it,
their,
not the town of Belmont.
right. Right,
and I don't even know how a grant like that would work when they wanna do this now, and they're gonna pay for it, but then I'm gonna get a grant to pay them back.
Pay them back, yeah.
A portion of it, it just doesn't make sense, and it's just messy.
backwards,
They're the owners of the line, we just pay for it, so,
yeah.
Kills me.
Well, they're trying to, and obviously, they want the whole burden put on us, not, they're not taking any responsibility for that line.
They own the line, they
Yeah.
want the Cadillac.
Right, right,
Or,
yeah. We've never had a Cadillac
No.
plan in this town, so why should we start now? Okay, all right. Highway Safety Grant Amendment.
So you just have, I got an email from Evan yesterday, who does the highway safety grants for the town and the police department, and the grant managers had updated some federal language, and so we just need a motion that you have in here to accept the updated NHTSA updated federal language, and then allowing the signer of the original grant agreement, which was the chief, who I think has already signed it. So we're just calling into record what they want us to amend. Somebody wants to make that motion.
I'll make the motion to amend the current FFY 25 Highway Safety Grant Amendment with the NHTSA updated federal language, allowing the signer of the original grant amendment to sign the amended agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Our next meeting in January is in January 2025 without a date, so
Okay.
surprise.
Yes, so our scheduled one is for January first, which is a holiday and we're
Alright.
closed, so my recommendation would be if we could do Tuesday, January 7th, and
Okay.
Wednesday, January 22nd.
Okay,
Also, if we do it Tuesday, January 7th, that allows for any last minute items to be approved by you, and then it goes to, the budget committee will meet that night, and then that will be the first public hearing. So
Got it.
anything that did change from now and then, we can slip in at night to the budget committee before the public hearing on the budget.
okay, so Tuesday, January 7th
At 10,
at 10,
and then Wednesday, January 22nd
okay, at 10.
at 10.
So it's just changing the first one then?
Just really changed, yeah. Okay. Do we have any other old business?
Yes, so I have an update from Jen on the amount collected on the second issue
Oh, the tax.
taxes.
Yep.
So we committed 12,075,000, and she has collected as of yesterday $10.9 million out of the 12, so
Not bad,
very good.
awesome.
Unless that update, that. I don't have anything else in other old business unless anyone else does.
Any
Have some
public?
non-publics.
Nobody from the public wants to talk to us? All right, then our next meeting date is Tuesday, January 7th at 10 o'clock. And we have a non-public, 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2 letter.
Sorry.
That's all right.
C.
Letter C. Roll call.
John Pike.
Ruth Mooney.
Sonny Patton?
Sharon Champe?
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice Christmas if we don't see you. Oh, and you need these. Where do I sign? Whereabouts?
Yeah, that's what I said, we might have to today, we don't know.
We had to do it, because just in case we had another glitch, and we didn't get the extension.
Here you go, dear.
No, we're with it.
So that kid, like, yeah, he was accepted and started Ivy League.
Too bad.
You did good, girl.
Yeah.